GPS is Gigi's Personal Services. She's an RV expert with over 3 decades of experience. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and the smiling face you see is our old friend, Traveling Robert. It is Robert Morales. Hey, how you doing, Robert?
Hey, I'm doing great, Tom. Great to be able to talk to you again.
Yeah. We had you on earlier this year before all the craziness kind of really settled in, and we had a good chat then, and you were getting ready to hit the road and do stuff, and then of course the pandemic hit, and we've all been trying to adjust to that. How you feeling? You doing okay? You look healthy, you look fine, everybody's good?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing great. Yeah, nobody in the family has got it, so we've been lucky.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Especially with all the traveling I've been doing, but I've kind of tried to be smart about it. So.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. Traveling Robert, traveling smart is the operative phrase there. And I know you said you just got back from about 3 months on the road. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, I did. I did a road trip, and planning the trip was a little bit more tricky because I kind of try to avoid, places with high, levels of infection or with the most the regulations. I avoided California, Oregon, Washington, Michigan, right. The places that had the most restrictions. So I always wanted to see like the middle of the country, the Midwest. So Missouri, I fell in love with Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota. That was that gaping hole in my map, the state in the middle that I had never visited. Montana, and then south through the Utah, the West. Then we even got some snow in Colorado. So it's been that kind of trip.
Yeah. And you said that you spent some time in Glacier National Park, which you said was really beautiful, huh?
That was the farthest I went on this particular trip, and that was the only thing that was really part of the original plan. Because my original plan, I was gonna live like in June or something like that, to go to Glacier and then continue to Alaska. Of course, didn't happen. Yeah. But Glacier, I mean, I've seen pictures, but it's one of those places that once you get there, you're like, wow, pictures don't really do it justice sometimes, and even though it was smoky because we had all the California fires, but I think that kind of added to the experience because it wasn't too bad. So the farther mountains were kind of like in a haze. It was beautiful.
Right.
That going to the Sun Road, it's a must.
Yeah, we hear that a lot about places, particularly places like Glacier and of course the Grand Canyon and places. It's like people will say, well, if you haven't been there, if you've seen pictures or movies or whatever, it's certainly great, but it just does not replace actually experiencing it in real life, right? With your own set of eyes, and it's by all accounts
you have
spectacular.
Depth. Your eyes, you have depth perception. If you see a movie or a picture, it's just flat. Yeah. So unless you see like a stereoscopic 3D movie, it's really.
That's true. You're very true right now. That's right on the money. And those are places certainly on my list that I'd like to see. I've said it many times. There's a lot of states, just a little under half of the states of this country that I've yet to visit, and those are some prime spots that I want to get to myself. So what strikes me about you, Robert, is that you've got this unbelievable following. I mean, it's your YouTube channel has over 150,000 subscribers. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of people tracking your adventures across the country. What kind of feedback do you get from fans? Like when they see you hit the road and they, what are you hearing mostly? Is it like, wow, thanks for sharing that, or What do you hear the most from your fans?
Well, I've been very fortunate to be able to get this big following, and so sometimes it's unfathomable. Like 150,000. That's a stadium, pretty much, of people if you think about it. And I'd be surprised. Most of it has been positive, and most of the people, what they mention is that they feel like they're traveling with me, and I kind of, that's the way I edit the videos, and the way I kind of try to make each episode like a little adventure. I'm not into the top 10 things to do in Glacier. I'm just gonna take you with me in Glacier, and then whatever happens.
Yeah, you're just coming along for the ride, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the way I approach
Yeah.
my production.
Yeah. We want to learn about more with your adventures, and also all the things maybe that are upcoming. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more with Traveling Robert right here on the RV Advisor podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Now these words.
The RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of the RV owners. We'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality control is in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org.
We are back on the RV Advisor podcast. My name's Tom Alexander, and my guest is Robert Morales, better known as Traveling Robert. And if you haven't heard of him, what the heck's wrong with you? You should. You should know who he is. He's got over 150,000 followers, subscribers, I should say, on YouTube and across other platforms in social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. He's got in the tens of thousands of viewers as well. Robert, I know that you said you just got back from about a 3-month tour, and you're here right near us. We're in South Florida as well. You're in Miami, and we're in just a little north of you, just west of Fort Lauderdale, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're right in the neighborhood. So let's be honest, South Florida is a pretty good place to be in the wintertime, weather-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming up. We're approaching winter, but do you have any plans to get back out on the road and maybe traverse some of the snowy regions during the winter, or are you're gonna stay put?
Maybe not the snowy regions. I mean, last winter I spent it in South Florida entirely. So this winter I'm ready to head out probably west once again. I'm gonna do the Tampa RV show because apparently it is happening, and
yes,
very very excited about that one.
Hopefully we'll see you there, because we're planning on going too. So
definitely, to see to see what's new, and more importantly, the Tampa RV show for me is also about meeting people, meeting viewers, meeting other content creators, industry, and that kind of thing. And then I'm heading west because I want to catch the tail end of the quartzite extravaganza, let's call it that way. And see some stuff in between. I want to avoid the interstate this time. I'm just gonna kind of like do US 95 and kind of hug the Mexican border down there, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so across the southern states, Alabama and Mississippi, Louisiana and Texas, and onward, right? And get New Mexico and.
But I've always done that trip out west, either I-10 or I-40, and this time, I want to avoid New Orleans. I want to see like the southern Louisiana, we have all the good food, like Lafayette, that kind of thing. And then in Texas, what's the national park? Big Bend National Park, which is
Big Bend,
south,
yeah.
And quartzite, I don't know. There's something about quartzite that I find special. I don't know what it is. It's because there's not a whole lot there, but I guess it's also the community,
right.
And seeing everybody there.
Yeah. When you travel, I mean, what are you riding around in these days? What's your vehicle?
Well, I have I tow a trailer. It was a Winnebago Micro Mini. I used to have the 1706. I still have it. This is the 1708. I don't know if you know, they made me a brand ambassador earlier this year.
Yeah.
So they lend me this trailer so I can, showcase it around the country. It is
Wow.
nicer than the one that I had. I tow with a Chevy truck.
Congratulations, Mr. Brand Ambassador. That's
Oh,
pretty cool.
thank you. Yeah,
That's
I, I,
not
I just came back from there for in Middlebury, Indiana. That's where they have the trailer factory.
right. Oh,
That was
wow. Oh, okay. That's great. So, you make these trips uh, are there places, you say, on the ride out west, let's say you're going through
mm,
Texas or you're heading into New Mexico or something. Are there places
yeah.
along the way that you like to make sure that you stop, or do you like to try to hit new places all the time? Or is it a little of both?
It's a little of both. I mean, to me, the Grand Canyon is always worth repeating at least once every couple of years.
Yeah.
Uh, Before COVID, some of the great cities. I love camping. I love the outdoors, but I'm also a city boy. So if I can hit one of the great cities of the United States, yeah, sure, why not? Um, but usually, especially on this upcoming trip, I want to see mostly new things, except for Quartzsite, of course.
Yeah. Who comes with you?
Well, my wife comes with me part of the time. She still has a 9 to 5, so sometimes, for these long stretches of the road, I go by myself, and then she flies somewhere, closer to our final destination, and then
Oh, it
we go
meets up
together.
with you. Yeah. I
Yeah,
got
she meets up with me. She on this particular trip, she did it twice. She flew to um, Salt Lake City, and then she came back from Kansas City, and then Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's how we do it until she's able to come with me. Not full time. I don't intend to go full time anytime soon, but part time. It's such a large country we have that 2 weeks is not enough to go cross country.
No. It's a huge country. There's so much to see, and
And you and I, we live in South Florida. It's just
yeah.
it's a mission just to get out of the state.
Yeah, yes, we're right at the bottom of the state. If you're a geography fan, you know where Miami Fort Lauderdale Metro is, and it's right at the tip, not just a
Mhm.
little bit north of the Keys. So we're
Yeah.
we're yeah, we're all the way down. We're all the
Yeah.
way down as the dangling peninsula, if you will. Um,
Yep.
but it's a lot to get out of it. It takes about to hit the Georgia state line. It's a good 5 hour, at least 5 hour
Yeah,
ride.
it's almost it's like 380 miles, something around that
Yeah,
neighborhood. Yeah.
yeah, it's a haul. But if it we always joke around because if it doesn't come here, we have a long way to go to get to it. It's like we're talking about
Mhm.
concerts and things like that. If they don't come
Yeah.
to South
Mhm.
Florida, you got to drive a long ways.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're planning your trips, do you set out? Do you find that when you go out on the road, do you find that you usually just kind of ride and stop where or do you really map it out and say, I want to be here by this time and there by that time, or you just kind of just take it easy?
I used to be like that when I was more like a weekender, or when time was more limited.
Yeah.
But now I just map out like the marquee places where I want to go. Like on this last trip, it was Glacier, and I wanted to see North Dakota, and the rest. It's. I mean, lately, less and less Walmarts are letting us overnight at Walmart, so that I'm having to plan a little bit. And this year, for some reason, well, we know the reason. Everybody's out camping.
Yeah.
It's incredible. On a weekend, it's practically impossible to find something. So this year, it required a little bit more planning, more than years past.
Right.
So by 3 p.m., I want to make sure I have something somewhere to stay. It's
Yeah.
also summer. It's hot. Boondocking is not as feasible when it is 90 degrees out there.
Yeah, no,
So
that's for sure. That's for sure. You
mhm,
want somewhat of the comforts at home a little bit, a little, nice air conditioning, feel relaxed on those super
yes.
hot
Mhm.
days. I hear you. Um, and when you're actually putting the videos together, I guess you're able to kind of put everything together on the road, right? I guess you got a laptop and you just
Mhm.
you're just able to do
Yes.
your editing and put everything together right from there. And is it a
Mhm.
one-man operation, or does your wife help out on those, or?
She helps a little bit with social media and answering messages and stuff like that, but the production is all me.
It's
And
all
you
you.
know,
Yeah.
I travel with a mini recording studio, if you will, and my
Yeah.
laptop with the second monitor,
Yeah.
and even the keyboard, because sometimes I come up with a tune in the middle of the road, and I've been able
Yeah.
to compose on the road.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, we have both a video and we also have, you know, people just listen. They have the audio component of this podcast, so they can't see it. But the folks that can see you, if you shift a little bit to your left, I think you could see the keyboard. There you go. Yeah, there it
I
is.
don't know
What kind
exactly.
of
I don't know
keyboard is
exactly how
that?
much.
What do
No,
you got?
this is just a controller. It's an M audio
Oh, an M
MIDI
audio.
controller.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
So you're able to kind of trigger a bunch of different sounds from that, and
Yes, yes.
you write your own music, and
Hmm.
that's fantastic. Well, you know,
Yeah,
we next time when you come on, well, maybe we can have you play a little something for us, or we can, you know, we'd love to hear it, and
yeah,
you
sure.
know, hear and see you in action. And so I know that you play a different, I guess, a couple different varieties of music, right? Different
Hmm.
styles.
Well, but when I started, you know, I started in the '90s, and it's Miami, so we had a salsa band.
Yeah,
That we had a big band, and that's what I did for the better 20 years of my life until salsa went out of fashion. And now I do a little bit of everything. You know, I have influences from jazz, from rock and roll, Beatles, this and that.
yeah.
So I compose a variety of if you watch my videos, you know, all the background music is all
It's all
some of
you.
it is some of it is smooth jazz, some of it is more a
Yeah,
little more country, some is symphonic, because it depends of, you know, I get inspired by whatever video I'm editing, and
right.
uh, and then I reuse the music, of course,
Yeah.
and there's something I've been doing also. I've been doing like since the pandemic, when the lockdown was happening, I was doing live concerts on YouTube, on my other YouTube channel. I'm gonna do one this Saturday, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna try to do them at least one Saturday a month at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when I do them,
oh,
and
yeah.
I get it. You know, it's like a little happy hour. You know, people, you know, probably crack a beer open and start watching me, and
Yeah.
that
Chill
kind of
out
thing.
with traveling Robert. I love it, man.
Yeah,
That's the way to go. So,
yeah.
if people want to find you, and is there one spot? I mean, is there one spot they can go and sort of access everything, or
Well, there's travelingrobert.com.
yeah.
That's my website, and that's where the podcast also resides. I also have a podcast, by the way. I don't know. I
Yeah,
find the
well, you
time
know,
for
we're looking
everything.
at you in your studio there, and it's a full pro thing. I mean, you know, I look at what my equipment here in the background, and it's like, geez, you got me beat, man. You got a beautiful setup.
Nah, it's nice. You know,
Doing all right.
when I moved into this house, I had this extra room, and I decided, you know what, let's make it into a nice
Good for
place.
you. That's
Living.
fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
listen, we loved talking to you the last time, and equally so this time. We really enjoy chatting and hearing what you got going on, and we'd love to have you on again. And next time, maybe we'll have a little concert. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, and maybe I'll even bust out my keyboards here, and we'll figure something
It will
out.
be a jam session then.
Little jam session. All right. Well, listen, Robert. Thanks. Stay well. It's great to see you, and we'll hear about your next adventures. And enjoy the road, sir.
Thank you. Great to see you too, Tom, and thank you for having me.
Traveling Robert Morales has been our guest. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.